Welcome back to the Ponzi Files. The Ponzi Files are written by Max Azzarello, investigative journalist. In this part 18, the only true conspiracy about the Titan sub implosion, posted December 12th, 2023. If you're just tuning into this series, I posted this booklet alleging the wildest totalitarian conspiracy imaginable, with a map to an endless sea of proof. The big picture, cryptocurrency is history's largest Ponzi scheme that will soon collapse the world economy. Also, the US government and their criminal allies can escalate the theft of our entire livelihoods with a fascist world coup. In today's post, we turn to the lie at the heart of the Titan submersible implosion. It made big waves in June. Laughs were had at the billionaires who tried to go to the bottom of the ocean in a tin can. All sorts of conspiracies swirled around the event, but I clocked Titan in an instant. Billionaires and a deep-sea submersible, I thought. Bet there's no evidence it can go to deep sea. I've written at length about how Richard Branson has made a career in Ponzi schemes, with Virgin startup after Virgin startup making big promises, raising big funds, and then folding without results. For a flagrant example, we have Virgin Cola in 1994. Branson sold it as a flashy new cola that would take down the dinosaur at Coke and Pepsi. Reportedly, the company ran into trouble when a Coca-Cola executive, afraid of the competition, flew to the UK with a suitcase of money and bribed retailers not to carry Virgin Cola, which led to a drop in sales that doomed the startup. They just couldn't compete with the underhanded dealings of Big Cola. Afterward, the Coke executive who sabotaged Branson's startup became the manager for Virgin's group bank accounts, which should be completely implausible based on the above. They should be mortal enemies, shouldn't they? The truth of the matter is that Branson wanted Virgin Cola to fail, as all Ponzi schemes do, because as was stealing the company's investment instead of producing more soda. The Coke executive was rewarded with a fantastically lucrative job for helping to sell the lie. This is yet another example of Kafabe, a manufactured story to sell the public as to the reality. But it's Branson's Virgin Oceanic that tips us off to Titan. It's exactly like OceanGate, promising deep-sea submersible dives to the Mariana Trench. The company initially said it would offer deep-sea dives in 2011, but all plans have been scrapped, and the project has been on an indefinite hold since. When we know that Branson is up to his neck in Ponzi schemes, we understand that this is another one. Instead of investing in actual deep-sea technology, Branson faked it and stole the money. It's an example of a faraway flavor of Ponzi scheme like offshore drilling and seasteading, both favorites of Peter Thiel, whose role in the Silicon Valley bank collapse led me to this rabbit hole. It's easier to fake an investment when the victims are nowhere near where the supposed investment is occurring. Given Branson's identical-sounding Ponzi company, having waded through Ponzi factories, and having already identified dozens of billions invested in crypto super Ponzi via companies like Klinkle, Affirm, and Starkware, I was confident Titan was a Ponzi scheme like as soon as I heard about it, that these billionaires never went to the deep sea at all. To confirm my theory, I looked at what all the successful adventure tourism companies should have: video evidence. It should be all over their website and marketing materials, and anybody who's gone on the Titanic expedition would plaster their social media with footage of the experience. Instead, I found the opposite. Evidence that they were faking its capabilities. In this clip from 60 Minutes, we see clear video from the passengers inside the sub when they first get in. But once they arrive at the Titanic, the footage all changes to exterior shots that provide no evidence that the Titan was present at all. Footage of them looking out of the porthole in awe is non-existent. So this is film from inside Titan, source CBS 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes Titanic footage, which doesn't show Titan at all. Look back at all the old coverage of the event, and you'll find the same thing. No compelling video evidence that the passengers in Titan had ever seen the Titanic. Again, this should be readily available. Who wouldn't record video on their phone and share it if they had it? Meanwhile, Their website, shut down and irrecoverable, and unfortunately showed images of fish taken from the Titan as evidence that they were in deep sea, though those fish could all be found as shallow as 5 meters deep. It's tricks like these that Ponzi schemes use to legitimize the fake company, smoke and mirrors to get the investors to believe in them. Meanwhile, their website, shut down and irrecoverable, unfortunately, showed images of fish taken from Titan as evidence that they were in deep sea, though those fish could all be found as shallow as 5 meters deep. It's tricks like these that Ponzi schemes use to legitimize the fake company, smoke and mirrors to get investors to believe in them. Along with fakeable evidence, we got testimonials making it seem like a legitimate, if reckless, operation. Unsurprisingly, we can plug these people right into our criminal network. Marketing executive Chris Brown claimed he was one of the first people to buy a ticket, a decision he made when he was palling around with the Ponzi legend Richard Branson. Chris Brown and Richard Branson, source The Sun. Pompous Jeopardy contestant and naval officer Sam Buttrey said he almost went on it. Buttrey is close to my crime crew, too. He's friends with CEO Stockton Rush, attended billionaire playground Princeton University, and had gone to the Phillips Exeter Academy, the same elite crime school feeder as Ponzi criminal Mark Zuckerberg. In my last post, I covered how The Simpsons was expressly created by this criminal network to tell us that we're all oafish and divided worker drones. One of the show's original Harvard alum writers, Mike Reese, said he had taken the Titan excursions 4 times, including to the Titanic. Implausibly, he had no problem going back into the tin can operated with a video game controller, even though he said he had lost communication with the surface navigation vessel on every single dive. With nothing but second-hand evidence and direct connections to the perpetrators of the crypto super Ponzi, we can say for sure that the Titan was cut from the exact same cloth as Virgin Oceanic and never went to deep sea. But it wasn't just a Ponzi scheme. This was an entirely fabricated news story. It was early on for me when I was in the rabbit hole when I first found lies in the media. One crypto shill after another blaming the Silicon Valley bank collapse on regional banking. Then Richard Branson's dual role as Ponzi schemer and newspaper titan helped me to spot fabricated stories like Klinkle, Virgin Cola, and the Dirty Tricks scandal. Once I knew that cryptocurrency was history's largest Ponzi scheme, I realized that Forbes was owned by the mob, as they wrote articles after article celebrating the criminals I was surfacing and serving up Ponzi kafabe. This is unsurprising once you know that Forbes is almost wholly owned by Binance, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges. But what Titan reveals is just how broad this con is, helping us understand the totality of the con at the heart of a secret kleptocracy. If they didn't bother going to deep sea or even building the technology they do, then there was no rescue effort at all, and the government narrative was a complete lie. Just like that, we've implicated CBS for the 60 Minutes production too, Fox via The Simpsons writers, and ABS the planting Sam Buttrey's anecdote on Jeopardy. You've seen more, I'm sure. How many outlets helped legitimize the fake rescue? How many reporters helped sell the fiction? So we've got virtually all media telling us a completely fake story about some billionaires imploding in the deep sea. The big question is then why? To get our best theory, we start with a couple of curious facts about the Titan. First, bizarre conspiracy theories about the Titanic have taken off over the last 3 years, with outlets such as the New York Times helping to spread them. The theories are all over the place. The Titanic never sank. Our owner J.P. Morgan intentionally sank the ship so he could assassinate opponents of the central banking who were on board. Common conspiracy theory tropes like Jews, Jesuits, and the Rothschild family all show up. They echo QAnon and they posit a ritualistic force of evil at the heart of everything. Then the sudden rise in search trends for Titanic conspiracy, source Google Trends. When we understand that we're dealing with history's worst financial criminals who have full control of the media to steer us wherever they like, we can cast QAnon and Pizzagate in the proper light. These conspiracy theories were planted and spread to serve their criminal interests. By taking some correct facts and then attaching such fantastical things as ritualistic child sacrifice and the resurrection of JFK Jr., they help to mask the truth that they're all financial criminals, as the public helps propagate the red herrings that they spread. By blasting the nonsense to so many people and selling it as credible, they help create the post-truth America they've told us so much about. Finally, they help us instill a learned helplessness by promoting the ideas that our government holds all-powerful secrets beyond our comprehension. They get many to believe that the elites hold the secret power and we're just spectators, too powerless to do anything but watch the show. With Titan, we get one more interesting fact. The company's name is OceanGate. Notably, the name is practically identical to Watergate, one of the biggest scandals in American history. If there is some geopolitical machination at the heart of Titan, then this name would surely help propagate a whole wave of new conspiracies around the event. So we've got the clues that our criminal government wants us to chase conspiracy theories around Titan, but that doesn't clarify much. They said that Titan imploded and that we all moved on with our lives. Unless, of course, the Titan story isn't over. At the heart of this research is the revelation that cryptocurrency is history's largest Ponzi scheme by orders of magnitude. Like all Ponzi schemes, it has no choice but to eventually go insolvent. Eventually, the pile of cash they use to pay out investors will run empty, and the theft of trillions of dollars will be revealed. It's not just that cryptocurrency exchanges will all go insolvent and the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will collapse to zero. The perpetrators own some of the largest companies on the planet, and they each use these companies to pipe into the blockchain and funnel out billions of dollars in stolen cash from the crypto exchanges through their companies and into their pockets. When crypto collapses, all of the companies will suffer massive hits at the disappearance of this stolen money, and reveals itself with many of them possibly folding completely. It is a theft so massive, so totalitarian, that it will thrust us into a hellish new normal where we're all suddenly faced with the worst economic conditions of our lifetimes. The March 2023 bank failures all signal that these criminals are chasing out of this round of Ponzi schemes, cryptocurrencies, and the university Ponzi factories like Stanford StartX. When the collapse comes, they certainly don't want us piecing together what happened, which is why they will be manufacturing some sort of geopolitical black swan event to explain everything and lead us astray. They already did it once before with COVID, unleashing a pandemic just to explain why half the stock market was about to become very Ponzi-shaped as they funneled out all their stolen crypto cash. When we know full well that this collapse is coming soon because Ponzi schemers are simple beasts behind the smoke and mirrors, and we know that the Titan directly connects to our criminal operatives, and we have evidence that they want us to chase nonsense conspiracy theories, we can develop our theory. The Titan story isn't over. It will play some part in the coming days where shit hits the fan. What does that look like? We can only guess, but here's a story that tracks with the facts at hand. Suddenly, we suffer a strange and massive power grid attack, which could help justify the collapse of the Silicon Valley. They've planted seeds for this with the mysterious Metcalf sniper attack that took out a substation in 2013 and a far-right plot to take down Baltimore's power grid in 2022. We're all thrust into a state of emergency as we try to make sense of what's happening in our world, much like the beginning of COVID, in order to help sell the fiction that this was done to us by our enemies. We get reports that a Russian tactical nuke exploded over the wreckage of the Titanic. Suddenly, our military mobilizes for World War III as they point to this enemy, justifying a state of martial law as they pivot from secret kleptocracy to unmasked fascism. The harmless sounding Titanic conspiracy theories suddenly turn into the next QAnon overnight, a chance to create endless reams of misinformation around the collapse and the hellish new normal they've given us. Is it certain to play out that way? No, I don't have that playbook. But when we already know the entire Titan implosion was a staged lie by our criminal government and media, and that we're about to get the worst world economic collapse in history, we know for certain that it will play a role in the biggest lie our government will ever try to sell us. And Max finishes this off by saying, "Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Don't forget to share some secrets." Thanks for listening.